So, hi everyone, and welcome to today's Graduate Mentor webinar, How to Navigate the Job Market as a Graduate. So thank you all so much for responding to the invite, and it's great to see everyone here and to learn from our speaker, Anam, today. So we will get to Anam in just a moment, but I'll just introduce Graduate Mentor first shortly. And so we host webinars like this once a month to give students, graduates, and mentees extra guidance and advice as they make the transition out of university. So I am Karima Kiat, and I am the marketing manager for Graduate Mentor, which was founded by Dan Hawes in August 2020. So the idea of this platform is to allow students to have free one-to-one mentoring sessions to help them reach their career potential with expert support. And Anam is actually one of our fellow mentors too. And so I am also the marketing manager for Graduate Recruitment Bureau, which is the go-to platform for university students, recent grads, alumni, and recruiters. And we have now over 75 staff and thousands of clients across all sectors, with clients such as Amazon, IBM, Unilever, and Ocado, and several other SMEs. And our recruitment experts have successfully matched over 8,000 graduates with either graduate or executive level jobs as well. So since we launched Graduate Mentor almost 3 years ago now, we have a community of over 6,000 students and graduates on the platform as mentees. So they represent a full spectrum of backgrounds, universities, and courses, with a lot of them representing diverse backgrounds and unrepresented groups. So this is the main audience that we are trying to help get on the career ladder. Now, this shows exactly where the main bulk of our mentees are from in terms of university and courses. So there's a nice diverse range there that we've got. And we have achieved a lot over the last 3 years. And as I've said, we've hit over 6,000 mentees on our platform, and all having completed a session as well, and 300 mentors have joined us. And we've hosted 13 workshops just like this one, which are all recorded and on our website for you to look back on after this as well. We have a large social following as well, reaching 53,000 accounts each month, and we are coming up to 22 success stories from mentees that have either had great outcomes from their interviews, or landed a job, or just gained confidence in their job search. We've also hosted skills webinars directly with 7 different universities and counting, so we've got a few more coming up too. And we have some great partners supporting us to help us cover the costs and allow us to maintain Graduate Mentor for the future. So I'd like to thank GRB, Graduate Recruitment Bureau, SureServe Group, Softwire, and Oakwood. So moving on to our speaker today, Anam. Anam is a career coach and talent and learning specialist with 8 years of experience, and is currently working for EY. She has helped countless individuals who have struggled to navigate the job market. Her blog, which I'll actually put in a link in the description as well of this video when it's uploaded, and has become her blog has become an extremely incredible, valuable resource for learning how to develop your career and steer yourself in the right direction of the job market. Which she will touch on today. So I'm sure everyone's raring to hear from you now, Anam. Just to note, whilst Anam is speaking, please make sure you put yourself on mute, but please type any questions you have in the chat throughout for us to cover them later at the end. And as I've mentioned before, this webinar is recorded, so you have the chance to come back to it if you need to in the future as well. So on that note, Anam, would you like to take over?
Thank you so much, Karima, for introducing me and giving me this opportunity to share my knowledge with the graduates and the early talent, because I think it's one of the most important topic which we should tap and make the graduates understand the criticality and how they can get successful in finding good jobs in the market.
Thank you, Anam.
So, hi everyone. I'm so excited to be a part of this session, and I really want to share my experience as a recruiter because I've seen I recruit, I interview thousands of people and recruit all over the globe for my MENA region, and have an extensive recruitment exposure as well. So today I'm here with the topic of how to navigate the job market as a graduate. I would encourage you to please, if you have any questions, you can raise your hand or you can drop your question in the chat box, and we can, walk through at the end of this session. And I would like to make it a more interactive so that we can learn from each other. Proceeding with the first slide. So today's agenda we have is basically one of the factor why as a graduate you feel that there are some common challenges and you are finding it difficult or you're finding it difficult to navigate how to go through. And then we'll talk about understanding the job market. Different regions, different countries have different job market requirements and they need different technical skills. So we'll touch base on that. And then we have importance of effectively navigating the job market. Are you using the correct set of strategies? Are you using your platform effectively? So we'll discuss about that. Moving forward, we'll be discussing about the job strategies. What are the tips and tricks needs to be considered when applying for jobs or your personal branding, things like that. And then moving forward with networking skills. Why is it important for you as a graduate and even in as an experienced hire? Why you networking is so very important in today's world? And yes, the last topic would be how to build a professional branding for yourself, followed by question and answer session. So before we move forward, I would like to create a polling session here. If Karim, can you please create a poll for our participants? I would like you to please answer this poll and let us know what kind of challenges you face in as a graduate in the job market. So just give
Lovely.
us few seconds
Thank you,
and you
Anna.
will have a poll on your screen.
Lovely. The poll should be live now. Lovely. So it looks like for the most part, insufficient networking opportunities seems to be the highest one chosen. Oh, and high competition for entry-level positions is coming up as well.
That's nice. Or if you have any other challenges which you are facing, please write in the chat box and we'll discuss at the end.
Brilliant. So it looks like high competition for entry-level positions has won that one. Brilliant. Yeah, I think that's everyone answered in the chat. So yeah, it looks like high competition for entry-level positions.
Yeah, that's really interesting, and I feel that yeah, I can resonate that with the high competition for entry level positions. So we'll be discussing about that. Yeah, so we'll start with thank you everyone for your inputs, and I'm glad to hear your top three that the challenges you are facing. I'm sure there must be other challenges as well, but being a graduate, I think high competition for entry level positions or limited work experience or no experience is, I think, these are the common challenges. To start with, I want to highlight like people do expect, some of the employers do expect that you should have relevant experience. So work experience, now there's a catch here and there's a question here, like if you are a recent graduate, how you will have a work experience that could define your strength or that can define your position in the market. So being a graduate, by work experience you can also highlight that you have done some voluntary work or you have done some internships, some project work for 6 months or so. this could be done and highlighted in the part of work experience. And I feel, please don't feel discouraged when you see a job description saying, dash number of years, like around 2 to 3 or 1 to 2 years of experience for this job is required. So lack of significant work experience for you as a graduate in that particular market or job industry is one of the challenges which usually graduates face. The second point is skills gap, like skills between the academic qualifications and the skill demanded by employers. So now what we learn is like the bookish, the historical, projects we have, the things we have learned from during our schools. But nowadays I'm glad that universities are working on more on giving a practical job projects, which is giving them the exposure to get in contact with the employers, to learn more about their systems, how they work. So being a graduate, if you are doing something that's bookish, that's written in papers only, I would suggest you to just go back and try to do your own search and match the gap. So one of this gap is the skills gap, which usually candidates face. Job market competition, as you said, there's a high level of competition in the market. There are limited number of positions available, but there are lots of supply of graduates every year. So competing a large pool of candidates for limited job openings is one of the major factor. Uncertainty in career direction. So when you do not have, as a graduate, you are unaware of where you want to land, which industry you want to go into, which sector you want to go into, there's not much visibility on your long term goals, then you might face this as a challenge where there's a lack of clarity about your skills, interests, because it should be aligned with your long term goals and where you want to get into and which industry. Lack of interview and job skills. So now people have passed through the resume stage and they have got an invite to get an interview. So because of lack of interview knowledge or job search skills, graduates face limited, they face a lot of challenge in getting through this stage and passing through the offer level. Lack of patience, this is, I think, one of the major factor above
Common
all of
challenges
these.
faced by graduates in the job market. Hey,
So the challenges, like lack of patience, is, I think, despite the fact, if you have everything, you are meeting the criteria, you are meeting everything, but if still you are facing disappointment and frustration, in the long way you will feel discouraged, you will feel demotivated, and and you might, there's a possibility that you lose your patience. And I think it is the major factor which can hinder your navigation in the job market. Now, the importance of effectively navigating the job market. As a graduate, as an early talent, having 0 to 2 years of experience, how you can effectively navigate the job market. So why it is important, because the job navigation is so important because of the increased competition day by day. We have daily, it's such a fast paced market these days that technology companies are coming in, people are having different skills, different degrees. It's not the similar master's degree you are having in HR or marketing, it's more than that. People are coming through as a graduate, as a data scientist, they are doing advancement in technological courses, anything related to e-tac, e-health, so there's a lot of increased competition, and hence it is very important for you when you enter into in your graduation phase or during your last semesters, you should be very clear about which market to tap into. Access to the hidden opportunities, there are times, there are positions which are not being openly uh, populated in on LinkedIn or different job portals, because there are hidden opportunities, there are employers do not always post that on LinkedIn or on any job portal, so you need to access the hidden opportunities which are there. alignment with career goals. For example, I am an HR professional, and earlier, when I completed my degree, let's suppose I am not interested anymore in HR, and I think that HR is very boring, and I do not want to continue in that field. Do you think that I am aligned with my career goals? Because considering that I have already spent so much in getting that degree, but now after realizing getting into the field, I'm not interested in that. So your goals should be aligned with your career goals and your professional and personal goals. The fourth is maximizing employment potential. At what level you are maximizing your potential to get the employment in the job market? Are you going out of the box, and are you thinking out of the box? Are you doing everything in your uh, the things, the factors which are in your hand to get the maximum potential out of yourself, or no, you are just being a mediocre in the job market? Number fifth point is showcasing your value and differentiation. Your personal branding, your personal market value is very important. You have to differentiate yourself in the market. If I'm the same and the other person is same, why would the employer choose me and not the other person? You need to have that one X factor in yourself to make yourself or to showcase your values or skills. And the last is adaptation to changing market dynamics. What we have studied 2 years before, what we have studied even 6 months before, it can change the market dynamics. Let's suppose in COVID, everything got changed, right? We completely moved to digital side. Earlier, it was more of a office only, more of a paperwork, but because of the change of dynamics, because of the health um, situation, everybody changed the mode, and they went to the digital. So are you adapting? Are you frequently keeping yourself updated regarding the market dynamics or not? After all the information, you know the importance, you know the challenges, now comes a catch here, that are you actually understanding the job market or not? Like, you have ample information, you know how to take it forward, you have your brand value, but you are actually not understanding the job market in which you want to go in and make your career. So the number first point and the important point is, are you researching your industry trends? Here I want to highlight that being a graduate, I think we lack these skills, because we get into the market, we get into the career in which other peoples are going, and I think very less amount of people or graduates are totally focused on what they want to achieve in the nearby future. They just go in, enter the market because it's trending, or because the friend is going, or because this is something very easy. They are not focused about where they are going and in which industry they want to go. So you need to keep a check in the couple of years by doing your research and stay informed that what are the current developments and traditions, and the procedures are there in the interest of your industries which you want to go in the nearby future, or you want to apply a job for. And the second is analyzing job postings. As a recruiter, I can share my experience that I've seen number of people, graduates, they don't read the job description, they don't have the desired skills, and just they apply for the positions that are asking for 5 years of experience, or that are asking some specific skills or qualifications mentioned in those postings. So are you analyzing job posting? Are you tweaking your CVs? Because you have that skill, you have the desired requirements, but your CV is not reflecting what the potential employer is asking for. Are you matching those skills with the required job postings or not? The number third point is analyzing career fairs and networking. I'm not written you have to join career fairs. I have written analyze. By analyzing, I want to focus, are you engaging in these conversations? So when are you going in career fairs? Are you just going through every booth and just asking, for the very limited information? Are you actually engaging and networking with the leaders, with the industry leaders, with the recruiters, sharing your potential abilities and strengths with them? And trust me that if you are going in person and you are making the mark in the career and networking events, some of the other people will still remember you. If you take out, ask them for their numbers or any, engage them, get in touch through LinkedIn. This is most of the important point which I want to highlight, that even though you are going in career fairs, you should keep a constant touch with the person you engage with in during those events. The fourth is seek career guidance. So most of the graduates, they still feel that there's lack of clarity, they need guidance, they do not know what to do, they are not enjoying their current job, or they are not enjoying their career pathway. So if you think that in your circle, in your community, or in social media, there are lots of LinkedIn, people are sharing free advices, but you have to be mindful that you are adopting and seeking right advice. On social media, you will get so many advices, that are free, and people are sharing different job that you can apply here, you can apply there, but you have to be mindful, are you following the correct person, are you following the person who has relevant experience and who has been in the industry, or you just following the random person who's just sharing career advice? Do you want to have mentor who can guide you throughout your uh, job search process or not? It's highly recommended that you should have someone who can advise you, on your career path, specifically initially at your initial career stage. Moving on to point fifth, reflect on personal strengths and values. So, are you reflecting on your personal strengths or values, or you're just taking it very lightly? Are you doing a self reflection? Because I can understand and I know that being a graduate, when we do different type of projects, that is the time when you can reflect on your personal strength and values. You are working in a team, so you can are you good at team building, are you good at leadership skills, are you good at negotiation or conflict management, are you good at stakeholders building? So even if though you are working for a project in a university, these skills can help you get a job, because this is the time you can reflect, okay, I think I'm really good at team building, I think I'm really good with negotiation, or there's like four people working in my project, one is sharing the other thought process, they have the other process, I have the other thought process, how we both can collaborate and work. So these are the strengths which you can identify at the very early stage of your graduation, or when you are graduating from a university. Embrace a growth mindset. If you do not have a cultivating, if you do not have a growth mindset, you cannot inculcate all of these strengths or self reflection in yourself. You need to make sure that you're adapting, you're open to learning, you are open to constructive feedback. If somebody is giving you feedback, you should take that. If you do not take that, if the first job is very very less, I would not encourage you to go for that. But of course, just don't make money as a barrier for you to accept any job. You should have a growth mindset. Experience at the initial stage is matters the most, but of course, to have a good living and a standard of living to meet the expenses, good offer is also an important part. Now, moving on to effective job strategies, how you can get and how you can navigate to get a good job in the market, or at least tap the job market, so that you can get an invite from an HR person, or can get for an for an assessment, or even for an interviews. First, you need to define your career goals. Before starting the job search, you need to identify, you need to list which companies you want to enter into, which industry you want to go into. Do you want to go into healthcare as a business representative? You want to go in tech sector? You want to go in consulting companies? And which job roles you are okay with? Being an HR, I have multiple job roles available in the market. There are there are people who are doing trainings. There are people who are on the operation side. There are people who are recruiting. There are people who are looking after talent management. And same with the finance people. Someone who has done finance, they can either go into accounting, they can go into valuations, they can go into how to model, they can model the assets. There are lots of opportunities. Being a pharmacist, you can tap different markets. So you need to clarify which industry, which companies, which job roles you want to go that aligns with your skills and values also, because you need to take care that the job you are applying, the companies you are looking after, that's your dream company to get the job into. You also need to check that is it aligned with your values or not. Even though it's aligning with your career goals, but if it's not aligning with your values, you might face a challenge when even you get the job there. You will not be able to maintain that level for a longer period of time if it's not aligned with your values as well. The second point is understand industry and job market. Now you have done, you now you know, okay, I want to go in XYZ industry. I am interested for this particular title, data scientist. I think it's a very good job scope. It will have a good job scope in the nearby future. I think I will go with one of the top three companies. Your interests are aligned, your skills are aligned. Now you need to understand that to enter into those companies, to get an interview call, are you keeping yourself updated with the advancement? Are you keeping a track of what's happening in those companies? What market demands there are? Do you think that, the industry you are going into and the job you are going into, do you have a future in that? You have entered the market, but there's no further growth in that market, so you have to decide it before applying for the jobs. Customize your applications. Now you have done your research, you have done, you are aware of which industry you want to go, which job market you need to tap into. Now the point comes, the most important point is the lack of understanding of how to tailor resumes and cover letters according to the job opportunity you are applying. And even if though your resumes covers everything, you do not need to mention your job description. You need to mention your achievements. You need to mention it through smart ways. Targets, did you achieve the targets? What are the numbers? What employers look into the resume, they do not want to see, okay, as an XYZ, I conduct trainings, I review the reports. No, how many reports you have reviewed, how many work you have done. And being a graduate, I understand that you will not have that enough experience, but you can always mention your time period during your project, 6 months of project you have done with some company or in an internship, in which department you have done, what sort of work you have done, what sort of exposure you have now, have you dealt with any clients or not during that period. That all should be mentioned in your resume under internship opportunities, under apprenticeship opportunities. It's so very important. And also, you should also capture voluntary experience, because if you're doing a part-time job, if you're doing any voluntary experience at this stage, transferable skills is the most important factor, because everybody knows that being a graduate, you will not have enough technical skills can be, you can give people, the employer can give you the training, but if you do not have those values aligned, or if you do not have transferable skills, then it's very hard to get into the job which you want to. So focus on your transferable skills at this point in time of your life, and then experience will come along the way. Gain practical experience, as I already mentioned, that you need to seek internships, you need to see in which path you are going, in which industry, because if you are in doing an internship into a particular industry, like oil and gas, like health sector, like IT, technology, then probably it's showing, is reflecting to our employer that your interest lies in that part. So you need to see before applying to internships as well, is it aligned with your goals, with the job opportunities you want to do in future. It will definitely help you to get jobs more easily. Then voluntary work, as I mentioned, it enhance your skills and let the employers know that you do extra co-curricular activities, you are highly active and engaged with such kind of projects, because in companies we do have such kind of programs, which companies ask people to voluntarily participate in. Now, the fifth point for the job effective strategies is leverage on job portals. Are you leveraging it? Are you utilizing reputable online job platforms like we have for like Graduate Bureau? We have here we have a handshake. So are you leveraging those online job portals or not for the relevant job openings? The sixth is research companies through, before going into the interview. Prepare for interviews, how you want to give an attempt an interview. If you got the call, after your tweaking your resumes according to the job opportunities you are applying for, now it's the time to shine and showcase your skills, your values. Please do not fake during your interviews. Please do not quote anything which you think that might create a problem in the future. You do not have to fabricate the information. Be yourself, showcase your values, showcase your culture. People are open with the diverse culture, with the diverse. See that the company which you are applying for or you got the interview call, check their values and then resonate the same during your interviews. And the last is, this is, I think, is the most ignorant factor. Most of the people and the candidates, they do not follow up. Extensive follow up is also not good, but you are not following up because you got an idea, like, as a recruiter or as a potential candidate, you get an idea about, oh, okay, the people who are interviewing, they like you. Ask them, what are the next steps, when can you hear back from them, what do they think about yourself. They will give you true feedback, and you can make an idea from that. Okay, I think that, they are considering me for this job opportunity. And then afterwards, send a thank you note to the respective person who interviewed you, or maybe an HR person, and saying that thank you for your time. I'm really I'm thrilled to get knowledge of what exactly you are working on, and the future projects. I'm really interested in this opportunity. And then maintain the persistence. Like, there are times, like, candidates, they don't follow up and they reach to the offer stage, and because of this, the process we need to work on, we cannot just direct. As a recruiter, you need to follow some process, right? And they lose the opportunity because they do not follow up, and they accept opportunity somewhere else, or they or they don't read their emails, they don't read their junk emails, and and they don't respond timely to the recruiter or to the company about their interest. They show lack of interest by not responding on time. So these are the little factors which which get you through the job offer stage. Now we need to know how to network. We need to understand that, being a graduate, are we networking well with the talent leaders, with our mentors, the people we are working with. So one of the key element is, you need to utilize, you have built your network during your university, you have met different mentors during your projects, different teachers, coaches. You need to make sure that, are you making your networking, are you utilizing your networking skills, are you keeping in touch with them or not? You're just like, you have graduated, now you don't want to keep in touch with that. No, are you utilizing your network when you went in the networking session? Did you take the number? Did you get connected on LinkedIn? These are the factors which is very important to get you through this navigation of the job. The second is attending career fairs, networking events, wherever, whenever you can network, because in the current era, this is one of the key factor. If you have good PR skills, if you have good social skills, that will definitely help you land a very good job. Join professional association and groups. There are multiple groups on LinkedIn, on different professional platforms, where people discuss the topics, where people discuss about the opportunities. Do comments there on LinkedIn if you think you have follow some leader, and if you like something really good about the post or anything, you can just comment, make yourself highlighted in those group. And when people will start noticing that you are creating a connection by commenting, by noticing their work, they will definitely keep an eye on you. Creating a professional LinkedIn profile. Most of the time, as a graduate, we do not update our profiles. We do not have profiles, even though we have, registered, or we have been studying in a university. We think that, okay, once we will have a professional background, or we will start applying for jobs, then only we will have a professional LinkedIn profile. That should not be the case, because as an individual, you have to start making your personal branding, which we'll talk about in the next slide. Connect with your professionals in your industry, alumni from your educational institutions, individuals with similar interest. You met somebody, try to build contact. I know it's very awkward at the very because if you are not an extrovert, you're an introvert person, it gets very difficult to gel in very quickly. But but as a graduate, you are working in a team, you are working with different peoples from different backgrounds, different institutions. This is the right time to build network, because I understand that most of the universities call professionals to evaluate the your thesis projects or any kind of projects. I think it's very important that you start building your connections from the start only, because once you will start applying for the jobs and you do not have any networking skills, all the things will go down the drain. You will really you will really struggle in getting a good job. Networking is a two-way street. Look for opportunities to provide value to others. You should not be selfish. You should help others. You should develop your network. If you think that, okay, this is something which will help you or your colleague or your teammate, you should definitely provide your value, your thought process, share your experience with them as well. Develop your elevator pitch, what you are as a person, because at this point in time you need to tell your interest, how good at you, at what thing you are good at. What did you do, what did you recently did something which can be highlighted in front of other people. So elevator pitch for like 60 seconds or 30 seconds should impress the person you are talking with. And the last is maintain professionalism in your networking interaction. Don't be get very clingy. Don't get drop too many follow-ups emails. Don't be very harsh with them. Don't threaten them that you are not responding to me, or you guys are not considerate. These factors really showcase that what our values are. You have to maintain patience. You have to maintain your professionalism during all of your networking sessions. Even if you are applying for any jobs, you have to showcase that you are professional and you are just following up with the respective job opportunity. And yes, the last thing is how to build professional net branding of yourself. By professional, I means you have already personal branding. Personal branding, even if you are working somewhere, even if you are graduating, you should have your personal branding. People should know you by your name. Okay, XYZ. Oh, I know that person. I know he's very active, or she's very active in that group circle, or she's very active in participating in the university projects, or in the he or she is always up for that project, voluntary projects. So you should create your personal branding. And how it will start? By creating, nowadays online presence is very important. And as an employer, anybody, online presence should be healthy. It should not be you are posting things which are inappropriate, which is not good, because that will not give a company or recruiter, even a business, a good image of your online presence. You need to curate social media presence. You need to see what things you are posting, how you are communicating with people, because all this nowadays involves in your professional branding. The third is you need to develop your portfolio. You need to, if you have worked extensively on really good projects, even though not projects, during your time, if you are struggling to find a job, try to do anything which can create a difference, which you can explain to the employer that during this time, during my job search, I have been continuously upskilling myself. I have tried these courses from this platform and I think it's really good. It gives me insights about XYZ. So I think when you're even talking about self, even if you do not have job at this point in time and you are struggling with it, just do not stop the process of learning. Keep upskilling yourself. Keep and discuss this in the interview. Oh, I was I was going through this article and I think that it's really aligns with the company I want to get into and I'm being interviewed for. So it will give a good impression to the interviewer as well. Seek recommendations and testimonials on your social media platforms like LinkedIn, the people you have worked with. It's not important that only the professional people can recommend you or provide you with the testimonials. It builds your worth, it builds your credibility in the market, and which is very important. Even though sometimes, even if you are at the job and if you think that it's not working well, you should not give a bad mouth to any of the company or any of the other people. You should exit or enter gracefully. You'd have good connections with the people whom you want to work or who you have worked with. Attending networking in an industry conference happens. If you think that okay, there are many free conferences which gives opportunity for sponsorships, for fellowships, try to do that. Get into that market, tap different industries, tap this job or sponsorships opportunity, or even fellowship opportunities, which gives you an idea how to communicate with people. It will connect you with different people from different parts of the world, and definitely will help you and will give you an edge to present yourself in front of the employer. And yes, the maintain professionalism with consistency is most important factor for all the things which I've talked about right now. Because if you are professional, if you are consistent, and you are not losing hope, then only you can get successful in your near future, in your career. So thank you, everyone. I am really glad to get connected with you to share my tips. I would love to hear your thoughts and your queries. You can connect with me on LinkedIn at Anam M. Merchant, or you can even follow my blog on Instagram, which is with the name of Daily Cup of Corporate Life. I share their coaching tips. I share their career progression tips, and even how to get the job into a particular market or into a particular country. So you can connect me with there as well. Happy job hunting. So yeah, we are open
Great.
now. It's open forum for everyone, and over to you, Karima.
Right. So if anyone has any questions, please add them in the chat now, and we can move on to those. So thank you so much, Anam, for that. It was been a really great insight, and I really like the point about like analyzing careers fairs and networking events rather than just attending them. It's so important not to just turn up, but to actually engage with the employers and ask them questions about the market
Yeah.
trends or the job opportunities, and that's what they're there for. So it's that's a really great point. So thank you for that. And also, just following up after an application or an interview as well is really, really important. I actually
Yeah.
had a question myself for that. Do you have a recommendation after an interview or after an application, how long to kind of follow, how long until you need to follow up? Like a few days or a couple of weeks?
No, couple of weeks I think would be very far. Once you have an interview that day, probably next day you can just drop a thank you email that it was really lovely. I had a great connection, discussion with you regarding the job opportunity, and I'm really looking forward to know the next steps and how we can move forward. So as I said, that during interviews you get an idea about if the employer is really interested in you, or because they do share honest feedbacks with you, right? So but not to lose the opportunity to move to the offer stage. It's great to you can just drop a thank you note, and then you can follow up after few days, and then of course take a break. And if you're not hearing back from the business or the recruiter, then drop another follow up email, but don't do it very consecutively or very closely, like you are doing it today and then you are doing it tomorrow, and then you are doing maybe 3 days you know gap. So it should not be like, because it might bother because um, as a business, or as a people, as employer, we're so engaged that at times it get missed, or sometimes you don't notice. But if you are like, if it gets annoyed, then I think it should not be the correct way.
Great. Yeah, thank you, Anna. We've got a couple of questions. So Asama is asking, what are the job boards that we should look into as a fresh graduate?
So job boards, I'll tell you, job boards are the things where, as an employer, we post jobs on our website as well. But there are job boards, job portals on which it's specifically for advertising the jobs. Okay, so they advertise jobs from different companies, and it should be authentic. So you need to first a search that are these the platforms which you are using, are they authentic or not. For the Europe side, I would say for London, which I know about it because I have done, I read through. So Graduate Bureau is one of the good platforms. Handshake is also the platform where, people post their jobs, and I'm sure there must be other job boards as well. So job boards where different companies post their jobs. It's similar to LinkedIn, but it's more, for some people, not all jobs are posted there. Because as I'll speak about my experience with the MENA team. MENA, if you want to post any job position, the companies working in MENA, they use Gulf Talent, they use Naukri Gulf, they use Khalij Times to post their Baith.com. So these are for focus for the Middle East. So I'm sure for the Europe side, they also have job portals there. So you can go do your research and then you can find different remote job opportunities, hybrid job opportunities as well.
And I think also you can look at your job board and your career service at your
Yeah,
university as well.
yeah,
They always have stuff available, and of course,
yeah,
as Anam said, Graduate Recruitment Bureau, we've got hundreds on there as well.
yeah.
So we'll have the links in all the descriptions for those. And Zainab has asked, what sort of questions should we ask at an interview? I know maybe it's quite a general question, but maybe
Yeah.
a couple of tips, yeah, for general
Yeah,
questions.
so it's a good question, and I think as a graduate, even as an experienced IF, you're always so worried about what types of questions should be asked. So you need to go with the flow. You cannot just jump into the first interview round and you start asking very uh, uh, questions like which you think that it's too early to ask. So just go with the flow, and if you think that during your first interview, the basic questions should be what do you think, when can I hear back, what's the process, and if you're not aligned with the job description, because you need clarity on what exactly the job looks like, right? So if you think that according to the job description you do not have proper understanding of what exactly are the requirements of the job, then I would advise you to just to let the employer or the interviewer know that you would like to know more about the job, how's the working style, and then after, like, if you went through the second or third interview and the final stages of interview, you can ask about the values, the culture. You can ask about what's the timeline, how soon, about what are the skills they are looking for, because there's a time where you can learn, okay, this employee, they might say, okay, these skills are required, so you will get an idea about what exactly they are looking for.
Right, thank you, Anam. And it looks like we have another question from Trishan. As an international student in the UK, would you recommend graduate schemes while considering the graduate visa duration?
This is a great question, but I think, Karima, I think I would pass it on to you because of the laws you know about UK. Because
Yeah.
we here in the Middle East or in the different parts of the countries which I'm aware and I have exposure and working on, it's totally different with the graduate visa duration.
Yeah, of course. So, in the UK, when you are on your final year, you can apply for the 2 years. I think it's the graduate visa. It has changed recently, but I think you're able to work for 2 years after you graduate. Now, a grad scheme would be a good idea for that because grad schemes tend to just be 2 years,
Yeah.
and you have the option to carry on if you are able to in the company and if they offer you the position. So if you wanted to just kind of test out the market that you're going into and this company that's approached you, then that'd be a great idea. However, if you did want to carry on with the company, some do offer sponsorship as well. That is a case of course, asking the company themselves. They're all different. There is actually a list somewhere in the government website of companies that offer
Provide.
sponsorship, so I can also add that into the description as well. But yeah, it's completely up to you if you would prefer to carry on after the 2 years, and you want that, and you want to, yeah, you just want to keep going, or you'd want to just test out the 2 years and then move back and then maybe come back at a later date. So yeah. Does anyone have any other questions before we say goodbye? Seems that maybe you have answered all of the questions throughout your presentation. So thank you, Anam. It was a really, really great insight into this and how to navigate the job market as a graduate, because it can be daunting sometimes. So a big thank you to everyone who's attended as well. And I will have all of Anam's details in the description below as well. So you can follow her on socials and message her if you need. All right. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much, Anam.
everyone. Thank you, Karima. Thank you. It was lovely, sharing my knowledge with everyone. Thanks, everyone.
Much appreciated. Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Bye bye.
Bye.